Good morning, everyone. I thought today I would do a garden tour in August. We are at the end of August, so I'm catching it on the last week. It is a beautiful August morning, and we just manicured the lawn a little bit, so I thought this would be a great time to do a quick tour before we start cutting things back and getting everything situated for fall time. I garden in zone 8A, so we technically still have at least 2 more months of growth. So everything is going to stay in except for those that really need a hard cut back or pruning. This is the front of the garden where you look out from the porch. And generally I label it as garden 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the 5th one comes the middle. So I thought I would just start here with the first garden. The first garden, I have a pomegranate bush. You can train it into a tree form, but I've been trying to do that and it keeps sending them suckers that I can't keep up with it. So currently it looks like a bush. We had a couple of flowers on it, but it never took. It didn't get pollinated, so the flowers dropped, so we never got any fruit. I did a hard cut back on all of the cone flowers. You can see they kind of look a little messy and growing. We've had so much rain that I'm growing mushrooms. I don't know what variety of mushrooms they are, so we have a lot of mushroom growing in the ground because it's been so hot and humid with the weather. But everything is still growing. This angel trumpet is the pink variety here, single petal, very beautiful. It comes in spurts. It flushes out beautifully and then it drops everything. And then you can see there's way more new buds forming and growing. So we'll have a second flush coming soon. I came back and I pruned back all of the spent blooms. I didn't really want them to set seeds because that'll take energy from the flower, and I prefer to have flowers all year long as opposed to seed development. And angel trumpet roots so easily from cuttings that you don't really need the seeds. I just direct put the cuttings into a pot with medium of whatever you decide to use that's best for your area, and then they root for me within a couple of months. And you can also root them in just plain water as well. So this is an angel trumpet. Beautiful autumn joy sedum. They are about 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide. You can see with all the rain we got, they tend to flop. So I think I'm going to have to come in and remove all of the sedum in the flower bed. They're just getting way too much rain. Sorry, bumblebee just literally zoomed right by the screen. So you can see they are just starting to open and color up, which gives you, oh look, there's a bumblebee, which means fall is just right around the corner. So the sedum is really beautiful plant. They provide an amazing statement in the garden, and they kind of look like a succulent that you would have in the ground. And when they were upright, they were really beautiful. And as they start to develop their flower, it's a chartreuse green color, which is really pretty. And then as they age, they get a little bit of a blush to them. And then when they are in full bloom, and this isn't even in full bloom, see, they haven't really opened up. Each little tiny plant, like tiny little petal that you see, will open up into a beautiful little flower. You can see, let's see if I can get closer without it blurring out. See how they turn into each individual flowers? So if you can imagine this being fully open and this bumblebee is fully engrossed in this sedum. So like here, this big hedge, let's see, can you see all the tiny little flowers that are opening up? It's so intricate and so beautiful, but again, I'm having the issue with them flopping every year. So I think this year might be the year that we're going to have to remove them. On to the next plant, We've got a Japanese maple. I think this is a blood good. It's suffering from some kind of issue. I'm not sure what it is. And it's pushing out new growth, which is great because of the color variation. But I was hoping that they would stay mature, have their leaves, and then I'll see what color they are in the fall. But I think they're just this red color just as they are approaching. We've got more coneflowers down here. You can see when we mow, we need mulching blade because right now we don't have the mulching blade, so the grass clippings get blown into the plants. Double knockout roses. I've got more coneflowers here along the way. This one seems to be doing well. So the coneflowers is about spent, and I cut back quite a few, but I try to leave a few just for the birds to have so they can eat and harvest the seeds, and then I save some seeds for the following year. But I think I've got enough coneflowers, amazingly enough, that I could say that. But I have enough coneflowers, I think, this year, so I can concentrate on other plants. This is another angel trumpet, the yellow variety. I think I prefer the pink variety over the yellow, but it's still really pretty. And I've got a couple spent bloom in here, so I usually just go in and snip it off. So people do say, and it is, they are a little bit toxic, so don't consume it. And some people don't like to handle toxic things without gloves, but I don't have a major reaction to them, so I've been doing this, and I don't mind just doing this and dropping them. So you can see new buds are coming out, and they get pretty big. I mean, the yellow one doesn't seem to get as big as the pink variety. They both variety die back all the way to the ground, and then this is new growth with just 1 year. So the pink variety is more vigorous. They grow taller. She is probably about 6 feet, whereas the yellow variety is about 4 feet. And I've got a peach tree in here, got leaf curl issues and lack of water issue. We are planning on removing all the fruit tree. I keep saying this, but it's so hard to try to prep an area without the proper equipment. So we're trying to save up enough money to rent an industrial mulcher so we can mulch the area and then have an area where we can actually build an orchard. So this peach tree will go into that area, which means it'll have this space right here for another plant. The coleus is doing great in its spot. Most of the coleus are from cutting, and you can see they are very vigorous and they take well to propagation by cutting. Got a Japanese maple right there. Instead of coming around, I'm just going to try to hit the whole bed except for the bigger bed that I might have to go around. I don't know the variety. That was grown from a seedling or a cutting. It's been in the ground since the birth of this garden. I think this is the 2.5 years it's been in the ground, so next year will be its 3rd full year. Coneflowers, coleus. This coleus I thought I would like better, but the habit of it is more spreading, and I don't really like that. It's unruly. I like more of the structure coleus, which is like this guy right here. Sorry, I'm casting a shadow on the plants. Got double knockout roses again, and self-seed milkweed. I'm not sure if I really like this variety, but the hummingbirds and of course the monarch butterflies love them, so I just leave them be and then cut them back. They do die back, but with all the seedling, you can see all the flowers. Each flower up here produces a little tiny seed head, which forms into seed pods, and as they age, they pop open, and then you get millions of seeds. I believe this is a vanilla strawberry that I did a video on and cut back. It's still doing good, trying to train it into standard form. Hardy hibiscus, midnight marvel. Got a pinky winky over here that I pruned back. just because with the hot humidity that we have, it turned brown. So I cut it back to in hope to induce another flush, and then that way, now that we're approaching cooler weather, it can set and hopefully change color for us in the south. My hedge of sedum over here is looking great, except for little holes that you can see. It's very spreading. This one I might come around just to show you. I love the sedum. I've got calla lilies along with grass. It's hard to get in here when I weed eat with the weed eater, because I tend to weed eat the plant as much as I do the weed. So I try to stay further away, and then coming back later, which I did not do, I would come in and, by hand weed eat around the base of the plant. But the calla lily pushed out beautifully in the springtime, and now they're just straggling. I'm letting it suck up as much energy for its bulb for next year, and then I'll come in and I'll whack it back. The turkey fig plant is producing prolifically, and we are loving it. Still getting more fig. We love it as much as all the pests and the plants and the gnats and the bugs and the pollinators. My husband has found out that he really enjoys them in smoothie, so we've been freezing them and using them in smoothie, blending it. So that's been really good. Now, we haven't dived into making fig jams, but that's something that I would like to do eventually. You can see underneath it's got lots of new growth down here, and they are very vigorous and they grow like crazy. So I'm going to come in, limit up a little bit more, and then I realize that top branch is probably almost 8 feet tall, I would imagine. I can't reach up there. So unless you want to bring a ladder in, there was a hummingbird right over here. I don't know if you guys could see it. But I don't really want to bring in a ladder because I've got all the plants around this area. So I'm going to top it off and make it more bushy, but raise up the canopy a little bit so I can grow stuff underneath. But that's the plan if we don't move the fruit tree out of the way. I think this fig tree is going to be able to need to be uprooted. But look at how massive this trunk is. Got some fruit over here too. But see that trunk right there? That trunk, I'm not sure if we're going to even be able to dig it. We would like to be able to rent an excavator. But that's kind of, you got to save up money for that one. We've got a Japanese maple over here that is being smothered by the fig tree. So once it's done producing, I like to cut it back just to let this Japanese maple get a little bit more air and sunlight in here. The chase tree, Vitex, is looking beautiful. It's actually a bush form, but you can limit up into a tree, which is something that I am going to do as well. I'm going to come in, limit all the way up, and just leave 1 or 2, possibly 3. So make it like a multi-trunk tree, I believe. I pruned this back once it's done setting, which is like right here. This is done setting, and then it'll produce seeds. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Ooh, excuse me. So I cut this back, and then it actually produced another flush of flowers. So I tend to cut things back, not let it go to seed, so I can get more bloom time as opposed to seed time. But you can see it's such a beautiful plant. It could be used as a substitute for a butterfly bush if you can't seem to grow a butterfly bush. Chase tree is so pretty though. I mean, look at the tall structure. But the butterfly bush does the same thing. Now, I don't see many butterflies on the chase tree as I do the butterfly bush, which hence the name butterfly bush. But the pollinators love this chase tree or bush as opposed to the butterfly bush. And I'm coming around. You can see my hedge of sedum. This is the hedge of sedum. You can see it's encroaching into my path over here, but that's okay. We'll cut it back, and I think we're going to move it. It's been in this area for 2.5 years, and while it is beautiful and it'll flush, I just think we amended the ground so much that it does tend to retain more water, which is why I have holes and pockets within the plant. It should, hopefully, in likelihood, sit more upright and create a beautiful hedge, but It's still beautiful. I mean, look at that. But minus the little, you have to look past the hole, I guess. But it's beautiful all the same. And the pollinators love this area. Currently, nothing is on it. But I think that's because I have so much food for them this year in the garden that they're just going to everything that they love. So this ends the first flower bed that we have. And then we're going to go to the second area. The second area of the bed kind of connects. This is the area where it has all of the cleome in it. And I came in and I cleaned everything out once it was done spent. Hi, Sky. This is Sky. She's very lovable. So this is the area where now I'm just trying to plant a couple things in here. It does get saturated with rain. So when we get massive rainfall, this bed and this bed actually retains the water. It kind of pools up and stays in the area. So I'm trying to plant things in here that can tolerate more water. I have a sedum in here that hates this area and it flops, but I just haven't moved them. And then when it flops, it's hard to come in and weed eat because you'll end up weed eating the plant. So I left it in there for now. But I transplanted a hydrangea, and you can see I cut it back, and then it's pushing out new growth. So hopefully with the new growth, we'll get me some new plants. Or not new plants, new flower setting. So then that way, fall time comes, it'll turn color. Look at my basil. This is the Thai basil. It is amazing and prolific and smells so good. This basil is going to town. I only wanted to keep one or two because, as you can see, all you need is one or two plant, but it got away from me, and now I have like 4 or 5 of them in here. Along with the Thai peppers going red, I'm letting them ripe so I can make some chilies, spice. In here, I also transplanted hardy hibiscus. This is from a cutting, so giving it time to root in, and then next year, I think it'll be beautiful. Got a Japanese maple here that's doing great. Need to continuously limb it up. New growth gives this beautiful color here. And then as it ages, I like the frilliness of this, the leaf structure. Like Japanese maple are so intricate. You can get so many different varieties. Some are frilly, some are different structures. I've got a couple different varieties, but I really like this one just because it kind of is feathery and soft looking. It just kind of is beautiful structure in the garden. Planted, pineapple sage. It's kind of going through a transplant shock, but it's starting to look well, and I hope that it'll push because the hummingbirds love the little flowers that they sprout out. Another, I don't know the variety. This one has not flower at all yet, but because of its vigorous growth habit and its height, I'm thinking it's a pink variety, which will be nice because this will be the second pink variety I have in the ground. New buds are coming at the very tip over there, so I'm just waiting to see what it actually will look like. If it's a yellow one, I think I'm going to take it down. That way I can plant something else over here, but if it's a pink one, I'll leave it in the ground. Got some coneflowers over here, and then I also did a test run. This is a Ruby Supreme guava. It can't handle frost. And because I have so many of them, I decided to plant one in the ground and see if it'll die back and come back, or if it'll die back and stay dead. You can see it is loving itself right now, and it actually grew back. The only issue you'll have is you probably never have set fruit, because you can see as it's growing, it hasn't set any flowers or fruit yet. These are 2 new growth. And as you know, as we know, it's starting to approach fall, and then we'll reach winter time. So it won't have time to bear fruit before it dies back again. So it's a test run. It does survive in the ground in our area. It just won't produce fruit, which the purpose of a fruit tree or plant is to produce fruit. But it's still kind of pretty, the structure it provides in the ground. I've got a beautiful don't know the name of it, but I love this. It's a Barbie pink hardy hibiscus. I grew this one from cutting. The mother plant is over in the corner where I'll show you. But this one I so love. She's so pretty when she blooms, and she blooms prolifically. This is the first year she's in the ground. So I don't expect much from her, but she's still growing flowers, you can see, sporadically. And you can see new buds, but next year she'll set a show. I've got these coleus right here I planted from cutting, and you can see they are big. They provide a beautiful border to this garden area, but it's kind of blocking all the other flowers in the background. I've got a Minute Marva hardy hibiscus here, and this is a hardy hibiscus, but it's the white one with the pink or the red center, like an eyeball. I think these two are planted too close together, so I'm going to come in and remove that red one because I have the mother plant over here that's doing great. So it's going to need room. If it's going to get as big as the mother plant over here, it's going to smother it out, this white variety. So we're going to move this red one somewhere else. This is Star Magnolia. White flowering, really pretty. I limbed it up just the other day. It's more of a bushy habit, so if you want more of a tree form, you got to make sure you limb things up. This is an ornamental plum. I limbed that up as well. I've got room for some other plants over here. The only hard thing I find is if you have plants in bulbs and you cut back all the leaf, I kind of tend to forget where I put those bulbs until springtime when they all sprout. If I start planting things in them now, I tend to dig up those bulbs, and sometimes I damage the bulbs. So that's the only bad thing, and I would recommend putting a stick down or label down, but I'm kind of a lazy gardener. I don't do that. This is another salvia. I love this salvia. I'm not sure the variety. I have... I think it's playing the blue salvia, which is the one that gets really tall. But this one is like half its size. It only gets to about 2 to 3 feet, and I love it. And the the pollinators, the bumblebees, all of the pollinators love this. But you can see, with the heavy rain we have, it splits them, so I need to come in, prune it back, and then it'll flush out another set of growth. Or I can just leave it for the pollinators. I did a hard prune back of the coleus there. That coleus is the same as this one here. It was just getting so big and massive, I decided to prune it back. We got some panicle hydrangeas over here. I cut back all the blooms because, like I said, they were aging and browning, so I want to get rid of that. There's a vitex all the way in the back. I've got some cannas over here. A Japanese maple, which I'll be interested to see what color the leaves will change to in the fall time. And then we got elephant ears flanking the backside. They are so big and massive. The White Eden is doing good. She's flushing out now that it's cooling off and not so humid, which is great. That hopefully means I'll get another set of flower for this coming fall time. And let me see, the elephant ear. Oh, this is another of the yellow variety of the angel trumpet. You can see she's only about 4 feet tall, and then she flushes out, like she angles out. Instead of vertically, she grows out laterally. Look at these elephant ears. Aren't they crazy and wild? But so beautiful. And then the showstopper for end of August garden tour. Let me show you guys. Look at this beautiful clematis. She is climbing and doing her thing. This clematis I took as a cutting, and I think from a friend's house. I am not sure exactly the name of it, but she is beautiful. And I was concerned that she wasn't going to bloom. I didn't know what variety, what she was going to look like. But you guys, she is beautiful. She is like flushing out every flower bud. Oh, look, nope, not every. I still got some buds that are still coming out. See these buds? She looked like this just like a week ago, and I've been waiting for her to flesh out fully so I can give you this view of what she looks like. It's beautiful, magnificent. Kind of reminds me of like a romance flower, you know, what you imagine. So beautiful. And she's climbing over this trellis, and I wish I can show you the view from up there. But the further away you are, the more beautiful she seems. But you need to get close to her because she gives off this beautiful fragrance, almost like a honeysuckle. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is the showstopper, the flower of August. Now we're going to go into the third flower bed. I stuck some hibiscus into this pot and it rooted and it grew. Some coleus did the same thing. Some salvia did the same thing, and they're growing. So this coming year we'll put that into the ground. Mother plants of the Midnight Marvel Hardy hibiscus. I've got a grapefruit tree over here, and to my surprise it's actually setting fruit this year. I'm not sure if it will actually mature before winter comes, but look, it has fruit on it. This is the first year I've actually had fruit on this grapefruit tree. And let me show you the hedge on this side of the elephant ears. This is the elephant ear that we transplanted last year from one clumping that I had. And you can see each clumping got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the last one, look at this one. It has like 8 clumps in there that I can divide up. Each clump has enough that I can divide up and grow more elephant ears. So now I'll have multiple herds of elephant, as someone would say. Isn't that amazing though, what you can do with a plant? So we're going to come back around. Sorry, these are all the fruit trees on this side. So this side is just more greenery as opposed to flower, because I don't see the flowers on this side when we sit on the front porch. But if I miss a flower or a plant, I do apologize. I feel like I have so much in the garden. Sometimes I forget. I've got butterfly bush, Miss Molly over here. I'm going to have to move her because she's literally in the front of the border and she gets way too big. I've got smaller butterfly bush over here, but this one, I'm not sure if I like it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the color I'm not interested in. I think it's going to need to go. Beautiful thing about the garden, you can love one thing one year and you may not like it the next year, so you get to change it around. This is the only one of the spider lily that survived, you guys, from all those bulbs, just because of the humidity and the rain and the red clay soil. They still rot. Bulbs tend to rot quicker, but I was very excited to see this tiny one pushing out. You can see this little bulb, so I might have to plant bulbs closer up to the surface than further down below. So this one seems to be surviving, and that's really beautiful. I love it. I've got some roses back here. I believe these are Miranda Lambert. And then this year, for some reason, I'm not sure why, the Rio Samba didn't do well this year. I don't know what's going on with my roses. Some roses did better than others one year, and then the next year they don't. Black Eye Susan, I planted some hydrangea over here in hopes that I'll have some amazing hydrangea going from the shade. But now that we're moving this tree, the fruit tree, it's going to get more sun. So I've got to plant something over here to help with the shade. Another star magnolia, Japanese maple here. Butterfly bush. I got a fig tree back there. Hydrangea. Just kind of some smorgasbord. I do have actually, I can't remember what these lilies are called, but they're really pretty, but they're just, the leaf structure just doesn't appeal to me. So I took out a huge big one right here, and you can see I must have left a bulb in there because there's another green shoot. So I planted Miss Molly butterfly bush more back. So that way I can remove these one from the hedge that I planted. More Coleus, Vermillionaire Kufia. It survived through the winter and pushed back. I took some cuttings this year and grew quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to planting some more into the ground because the hummingbirds love this Kufia. The Coleus is doing good, just kind of flanking this side over here. Miss Molly Butterfly Bush, Coleus, sporadic things of another Miranda Lambert roses. I've got some pomegranate, 2 of them actually over here, and this is a plum tree, and I'm not sure what's going on with this plum tree. It's dying. I'm just not sure from what. We thought it was lack of water, but we've got so much rain for the past week that I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maybe it's too much rain. There is not much of a difference, it seems, from too much or not enough water. They both will end up looking like this. But the hydrangea next to it is doing fine, so I don't know, maybe I've got too much plants in the ground. Planted a small little hardy hibiscus. This is the mother plant to the Barbie Rose hardy hibiscus. This one is spent, but you can see she suffered quite a bit from those little worms that were eating them. And this one is pushing out seedling. I don't like them to put out seedlings, so I usually come in and I deadhead them, so that way they spent more energy into making flowers for me. Butterfly bush. Oh, goodness. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like somebody came over and ate or gnaw on that tree trunk. It didn't look like that just a couple of days ago, so I'm not sure what that is all about. Those of you who grow peach tree, let me know if you know what's causing that. I just noticed it now, but it looks like it's been damaged for a little while. And I would contribute that to me weed eating, but that's not something I did because I would be more toward the ground. I transplanted some hydrangea. This year, I think I concentrated on more of the panicle hydrangea this year because I want it to flourish in the garden. Planted a couple things from cutting. Can't remember what this little guy is. Some kind of arborvitae. It's growing from a cutting. This is a rose of Sharon I got from a cutting from a friend. It's variegated, and look, it has these new buds that are coming out. They kind of remind me of that variegated pink lemonade plant that you see in the garden center. But that's so cute and so pretty. I like that. Bee balm over here. The canna, it's growing back. I guess once you have canna, you can't ever get rid of them. This is the hibiscus, the Texas Star. It actually grew from seedling. And you can see new flowers, new buds are forming, so I'm looking forward to seeing the flowers so I can show you guys that. Canna lilies, salvia, coneflower, Texas sage right there. Canna lilies, sorry, calla lily, not canna. Salvia. This is basil. It's doing great this year. I just transplanted 2 things over here. This is, of course, another hibiscus. Look at this one. And this is another cutting from that Barbie hibiscus. I love these pink hardy hibiscus. If you guys don't have one, you definitely should get one. The little worms do tend to like eating the leaves, so I come in and I spray them. Cut back this Double Delight Knockout Roses. That over there is a new angel trumpet. It's a double petal flower. I cannot wait to show you guys. I doubt it will flower this year, but next year will be a showstopper once it gets a little bit more rooted into the ground. And that will end the 3rd garden bed. We're going to move on to the 4th. This is the trellis for the hammock. We usually remove the hammock when we don't use it. Again, sedum having this issue over here. This is the 4th flower bed. The sedum is really floppy. So we're going to come in and just clean this up and remove it. Behind this is my pink Eden rose. So we need to train her up a little bit more this year. And then hopefully next year we'll have a new flush. I'm going to come in and redo this whole area. This Granny Smith tree is going to come out. Cherry trees coming out. But all along here I've got phlox. This phlox has been in bloom all summer long. She's gorgeous and loving her area. Another sedum, floppy. Miss Molly. This is a crazy coleus that just got big and massive, overtaking the entire area. I've got a hardy hibiscus midnight marvel back there that's kind of gotten trampled by the dogs. The branches are all sprawling all over the place. This sedum is, of course, sprawled all over the place. But it's still beautiful, and I have a hard time removing it, but I think I am going to remove it. But I was waiting and giving time for all the pollinators to come and do their thing. You can see individual one that I was talking about. These are, once it's done, it turns brown and it's spent. But you can see the beautiful little flowers that they set. So that was looking really good until all the rain and all the floppage now coming in. So it's creating this whole open area that I can plant something else in. Got the Jane or Anne Japanese magnolia there. I think there is a bloom. Let me go and show you. Generally they bloom in the springtime, but this one's sporadically blooming. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful pink? And then I've got to limit up because I want it to be in a tree form and not a bush form. Woo. Oh, and my Double Delight rose. I get sporadic blooms from her because roses are so fickle to grow in the south because of the hot humidity. It just doesn't like it. It wants more dry climate and a little bit cooler. So I take every bloom as an extra, a prize, just a beautiful thing to have in the ground. Coleus, I've got Julia Child that I'm actually training into a standard. You can see it's sending out new growth, so I need to come in and cut it out so I can keep it into a tree form. Trying to train that into tree form. Another hardy hibiscus. This one's a little bit different than the Barbie pink one, but it is another Barbie pink one. It's a little bit more ruffly. Let me see if I can get in there and get a flower so I can show you guys what it looks like. So this one is another pink, beautiful hardy hibiscus. It almost looks like a tulip dress. Isn't that pretty? And then do I have the other one? It's more ruffly than the Barbie pink one. I was trying to see if I had one open so I can show you guys, which I don't. So this one is really beautiful and I love it. I'm going to propagate more of this one. But yeah, it's just another beautiful, beautiful flower. Let me just drop that down there. And then Coleus, and I've got Salvia. I think this is the Rock in the Blue or Play in the Blue Salvia. This gets really big, and the pollinators have loved this. It has grown all summer long, and look at the beautiful flowers. I mean, that is just a statement in itself. It's getting a little bit floppy just because the sedum over here is flopping over every single plant, pushing it over and down, but it's still trying to hold on. So sedum with its floppage. Salvia got lots of milkweed over here, which actually pulls all of the hummingbirds. And then I've got a hummingbird feeder over here. This plant I have here is a Chinese lantern. And here is one of its flower right there. And it's loving this area. I mean, look at all this new growth and green. It's literally suffocating everything. I've got the new Vermillionaire from Proven Winner. This is a cutting from a friend that purchased the plant. She gave me a couple cuttings. It's still up in the air whether I like it or not. It seems really floppy, and I don't know if that's contributing to its first year in the ground, so it doesn't have the steady, hardy branches like the other Vermillionaire. I haven't seen as many hummingbirds attracted to this area, but I think that's because I have this hummingbird feeder right here and they come to it all the time. Hi, Pixie. Can you say hi? This is Cathedral Belle. She is such a favorite of mine for smell and for the beautiful pink flower it blooms. This is from a cutting of the mother plant I have in the center garden. This is pineapple sage, just a variegated one. You can see this one is a lot more chartreuse green than the pineapple sage I showed you in the first flower bed, which is more green. And then I've got another hardy hibiscus here. This is the pink Barbie one. The calla lily is spent. And then on this is just the back side. I've got double knockout roses lining the hedge over here. And this is the other hot pink hardy hibiscus. And then I've got, of course, Midnight Marvel hardy hibiscus. And then over here you can see I've got this whole area that I can plant. I'm waiting to plant this area because we need to remove this tree. And as you can see, because of how big the apple tree is, the root ball is going to be massive undertaking to try to get that out. So I don't want to plant anything in there for now since we're going to move it. And then I made just this little side garden bed over here. I've got sedum. They're not floppy because they don't get as much water, so it seems like they tend to like it when you don't amend the area so much, which I should have known, but I had hoped that they would do well in there because I do love them. I mean, the sedum is just beautiful. Look at all this flowers you get from a single stem. So they're really pretty, and then it's hard to try to get all the weeds from around. I've got some knockout roses here. Cathedral Belle from cutting. I split the phlox. This one is really pretty. And then this is my Rose of Sharon. She is gorgeous. Giving me another flush of flower. Look at that. It's literally from head to toe. She sent up all these new shoots, and I was not lazy. I just didn't want to remove them because I saw all the buds. And then I have all these buds, so I would have lost out on all these flowers down below. But once they're done flowering, I'll make sure that I keep it in a standard form. So I'll come in and I'll prune all of these back and then keep everything up here. Planted some Midnight Marvel from cuttings just to give it a little bit more flower. I've got the Butylon, the Japanese maple. So that's another pretty one that I planted in the ground from cutting. And then Miss Molly. I think I planted them still too close. I'm still struggling with planting things and giving it proper spacing just because I grow everything from cutting and they tend to be so small. And when you space them like this, you think that you provide enough spacing, but because they're so little, if they get to its full size, I mean, it's going to be like 3 feet wide, 3 feet high. Every plant almost is like that, except the hardy hibiscus, which is like 5 feet height and 5 feet wide. And the sedum, as you can see, gets really tall and massive too. So we're coming back on the back side of the trellis. I grew some grapevines up here just because we didn't have a trellis. I think it's going to be a bad thing, and I'm going to have to come in and cut it back because it's overtaking this area, and I'm afraid it's going to overtake the trellis for the Eden. So we'll see how that goes. So walking back around, we're going to do the center flower bed and then we'll be done. Although I have other areas I would like to show you, but this is getting to be super long. This here is the center flower bed. It has the black tulip magnolia and it's suffering, and if any of you have any experience or advice, please let me know. The leaves are giving me this rusty color, which means it's got a disease or something wrong with it, but I don't know what's going on. I sprayed it springtime, but it's not seeming to help at all, and I want it to be healthy, and it is not healthy. So I think I might have to take this picture to Pike's Nursery and see if they can help me troubleshoot it. But I want it to be healthy because it's going to be beautiful once it gets to grow and thrive. This is where I have all of my roses. Oh, I'm going to put that down there. So these are my Double Delight Knockout Roses. Love them. Another variety, I can't remember the name, but it's a white rose. Miranda Lambert, she loves her area. Cathedral Bell, this is the mother plant of the Cathedral Bell, and she's beautiful. I love Cathedral Bell. Definitely recommend this as well. Plant hydrangea here, coneflower, pineapple sage, the lime variegated one. The one that isn't this color, you can see the difference. Let me take a cutting or a leaf and show you one where this is another pineapple sage, but it's just green variety. So you can see the difference in the color of the shade. It's not because this one is lacking in something that is turning yellow. This one's supposed to be this color, so it provides a pop. I almost thought that was a snake right there in the ground. My heart skipped a beat or two. But you can see this one is healthy. It's doing great, and it gives you that pop in the color from your otherwise just green foliage in the ground. So I really like that. This coleus is taking over the entire area. This is Julia Child. I did a hard cut back on her. And then these are foxglove I've grown from seedling, and they took, so I need to plant them into the ground. And this one's actually flowering. They're supposed to be biennial, but I think this variety I have is supposed to flower every year, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Biennial seems to be a little bit too much work for the reward, but they're supposed to be really beautiful once they bloom. Oh, and let me show you a further shot of the clematis, and then as we get closer. But she's definitely the showstopper in the garden for August. Look at that. Oh, butterfly just came by. Guess it wants its 2 seconds of fame. But isn't that beautiful? Like, I can't even begin to tell you, just sitting back and just looking at that hedge of just white flower, like it's literally a wall climbing thing. So beautiful. And I think that's it for my garden tour. End of August 2025. I do have other flowers I would like to show you, but it's going to make this video extra long because I still got other areas and other flowers I want to show you. Let me show you this beautiful large abutilon really quickly. I put it close to the front porch so I can get the hummingbirds to come, and they love it. I don't know what they see in these or how they can get the flower or the nectar from this, but I love this flower. It's got some kind of stress because it's turning the leaves yellow, but I haven't been able to troubleshoot it. But you can see it's also enjoying itself by sending up new flowers, so I'm not too worried about it, too stressed about it. But it's got all of these flowers. So that's kind of pretty, and I really enjoy having this abutilon here. And then just a couple other things in pots. All right, you guys, I think that is it for my garden tour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a great day and fun time in your garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.